Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à Californie. Je suis le bouffon de la cour. Et je m'appelle Clyde, toujours enchanté, mes amis, et bonsoir. Et je vous présente. I'm just fucking with you. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Needle Lift Podcast. That's right, this is the Needle Lift Podcast with me, your happy host, Clyde. Always. That's Clyde, as in Bonnie and Clyde, and always, as in I'll always be Clyde always. Why am I shouting? I don't know, because I'm so excited to be here with you. Joined, as always, as ever, by my lovely wifey here, little Kaylee, the ukulele. Say hello, Kaylee. Oh yeah, that was beautiful, baby doll. Mwah. Thank you for that. I know, you're excited too. Okay, hey, if it's your first time joining me at the Needle Lift Podcast, I want to say welcome to it. Welcome to my studio. I hope you're having, a good day so far, and if you're not, I hope you're having a better day after you listen to this, all right? Because that's the goal at the Needle Lift Podcast. That is my intention as a podcaster, is to give you a little oomph, a little chutzpah, to put a little pizzazz in your step, to put a little happy in your feet, okay? I want you to get out there and make love to the world. Make something great, make something brilliant, to get those creative juices flowing, because I know you're a creative. I know you're an artist, an innovator, an inventor, a free thinker, a writer, a painter, a drawer, a doer, a dancer, an ice fucking skater. I don't know what you are. But whatever it is, I'm sure it's brilliant and beautiful and wonderful and worthy of being in the world, okay? So that's what I'm here to do. I am here to give you a lift. So, if it's not your first time joining us, and you're joining us today as a return customer, thank you again, but you may be scratching your noodle saying, what the hell happened? Where are you, Clyde? Well, big news, everybody. I've just finished moving into a lovely Edwardian suite with my sweetheart, Tootsie Pop. I know. Me and her are all moved in, just about. There's a few boxes left to unpack. Anyway, I've taken a break from unpacking to come and join you today for the Needle Lift Podcast. And today's podcast, I should mention too, pardon me, every podcast begins with a pep talk. After the pep talk, I'll recite you one of my latest and greatest verses. That's right, I do consider myself to be something of a poet. I know, baby, I know. And after that, I'll do what's called the Artist Spotlight. And I've got a fantastic Artist Spotlight coming at you, so stay tuned for that. I'm not going to tell you who it is. You got to stay tuned. I guess you could just read it in the description right now, but don't do it. Don't spoil the fun. And lastly, I'll close out with an anecdote all about true life adventures, all about real life experiences, the kind of things that you ought to be seeking out for yourself, especially if you're a young person. Get out from behind this stupid screen. Go out there and find something great in the fucking world. Find a good reason to live. Okay, and lastly, and I gotta do this, all right? I don't want to, but they're making me. Please, could you, possibly, hands and knees, begging you, help a dude out. Click this thing, whatever that's called, and, the big red button, right? Hit that, would you? And I guess the bell, too, but you don't have to hit the bell. That's overkill. That's a little extra. But if you really like me, hit the bell. Anyway, hey, everybody, it's time for a pep talk. And today's Artist Pep Talk is all about changing yourself for the better. It's all about putting one foot in front of the other. It's all about taking one little step every day on your path to creative fulfillment, because it'll seem a little daunting at times, especially if you're comparing yourself to other people. Now that is detrimental. Whatever you do, stop comparing yourself to other people, because there is no other artist in the whole world exactly like you. That's the other thing too. All those artists that have come before you, they don't compare to you. So stop comparing you to them. That is important, man. In fact, you might even say that's the most important thing you could possibly do. Jesus Christ, a little tight in here, isn't it? Okay, now where was I going with that? Let me just check my notes. Oh yes. That's where it all comes down to. Is number 3 in the 5 simple and basic laws of success as laid out by the late, great Walter Russell, all right? Those being humility, reverence, inspiration, deep purpose, and joy. Never forget them, recite them, let them be your mantra. Be humble, be reverent, listen for the inspiration. That's the one I want to talk to you guys about today. About listening for inspiration. Because as artists, as freethinkers, as creatives, that is the very best thing that we can possibly do at the beginning of our day. Whatever you do, don't wake up to that goddamn phone. You wake right up and it's the first thing you do. You haven't even seen the sunlight yet. You haven't even taken the time to appreciate the fact that the air is still flowing in and out of your lungs. I don't need to tell you what's going on in the world. But your phone does every day you wake up. And I'll tell you what, too. Your phone and the people who are operating that little robot servant of yours, or is it the other way around? The people operating that, they want to feed you all kinds. They want to feed you all kinds of drab and draining and drastic and debilitating headlines. The kind of headlines that might just depress you. The kind of headlines that might just fill your whole day with a burning resentment. With fear. They might just make you well up with sorrow and remorse. They might just make you feel like crumbling. Hitting the ground and not producing anything beautiful and brilliant. So I urge you every day, before you pick up that phone and see who might have texted you in the middle of the night for whatever reason, take a good goddamn deep breath and listen to your thoughts. If you're a writer, take out a pen and a pad. Do a little scribbling. You might have had a dream. Don't forget about it so quick. Don't be so quick to just throw it in the garbage, yo. Because that's the universe whispering little bits of inspiration in your ears, all right? And that's the beauty of it, too. You are a dry forest floor. All it needs is one spark and you're off to the races, man. You will be a towering inferno of creative bliss. That's all it takes is one goddamn spark. So when you wake up in the morning, and I know it's winter right now, so it's a little tough to get a sunrise, especially if you get up as early as I do. Jesus Christ. Take a good goddamn deep breath, close your eyes, and thank the universe. Express your gratitude. Be reverent to the fact that there's food in your refrigerator that will nourish you on your path to creative glory. If you're in a wheelchair, I'm sorry, but if you're not, which is the majority of my listeners, I would assume, be grateful that you can take a walk to the end of the block and back. Because if this lockdown gets any stricter, maybe you won't be able to soon. There'll be drones flying around saying, get back in your apartment before we weld you in. Get back in your... So just be grateful that you still have the freedom to go do the things that you can do. Listen for the inspiration. That is oh so important. Because it's easy, you know? It's easy to get sucked into that endless loop. That uninspiring, endless spiral of dribble, of clickbait, of 10 reasons celebrities are more happy than you are. Fuck that, man. Some robot wrote that shit. Some dead man, some man dead inside, some man or woman dead inside, sat in their little cubicle and crafted a way to suck you into your phone, to distract you from the little sparks, the little glimmers, the little bit of hope that flies through the air like a hummingbird, and it's right outside your window. Take a good look outside. There is something just waiting. There is something just waiting to start that ball rolling on your next big project. That thing that once you've expended all of these resources, all of this energy, all of this thought and careful preparation. At the end of that long journey, and you have the evidence of your hard work, either in your hands or on your computer screen or in the hands of somebody else or out on the lawn basking in sunshine, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a big community garden. And it's there in your head, in your heart. You can see it. I mean, right now it's just a dusty old, empty old lot. But you can see all of those plants, all of that mulch, all of that fertilizer that you got down at the Home Depot when you had your wheelbarrow and your trowel. I don't know, man. If that's your bag, go do it, baby. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you because it's your vision, it's in your heart. So bring it into the world, but just listen for that inspiration, because the more time that you fritter away, the less time you'll have. Never forget that, too. Every little second here on planet Earth is precious, because you might take a step out that door tomorrow and catch coronavirus and die. Or you might get run down by a wild kangaroo, escape from the zoo. You don't know, baby. You might get crushed under the heel of a mighty green giant. Don't ask me where that came from. I don't know. Because I don't know. That's the thing. All of this stuff is just coming down from above. But I'm serious. It is my intention to inspire you. To be inspired today. Go get inspired today. Go do something different. Have a new experience. No, don't scroll on. You watched that YouTube video already. And it wasn't that good anyway. I think you even gave it a thumbs down. What are you doing watching that again, you dolt? See, that's the thing. The algorithm, the robot, doesn't care about your hopes and dreams. The robot only cares about keeping you occupied and keeping your mind filled with all kinds of little obstacles on your path to creative goodness, to creative accomplishment, to creative fulfillment, to the end goal of laying down on your deathbed saying, God damn it, I have left this world oh so much richer than it was when I came into it. Because that's your job, that's your goal as a creative, as an innovator, as a free thinker, as a doer, not as a speck of dust on the landscape. Don't be a drain. Don't be a drag. Don't be dull. Don't be boring. Live your life. Bring something real into the world. Bring something into the world didn't even know it needed. You can do it. You're good enough. We all knew you were. We really did. Allow me to read today. I'm going to read to you from a book that has really helped me. It's called As a Man Thinketh. This was one of the original self-help books. But in regards to changing yourself for the better, it all begins with your mind. Never forget that. So here's a little excerpt from pages 20 and 21 from As a Man Thinketh. He describes 3 different people who are all condemning themselves to misery. Here is a man who is wretchedly poor. He is extremely anxious that his surroundings and home comfort should be improved, yet all the time he shirks his work and considers he is justified in trying to deceive his employer on the ground of the insufficiency of his wages. Such a man does not understand the simplest rudiments of those principles which are the basis of true prosperity, and is not only totally unfitted to rise out of his wretchedness, but is actually attracting to himself a still deeper wretchedness by dwelling in and acting out indolent, deceptive, and unmanly thoughts. Here is a rich man who is the victim of a painful and persistent disease as the result of gluttony. He is willing to give large sums of money to get rid of it, but he will not sacrifice his gluttonous desires. Or he wants to gratify his taste for rich and unnatural viands and have his health as well. Such a man is totally unfit to have health because he has not yet learned the first principles of a healthy life. Here is an employer of labor who adopts crooked measures to avoid paying the regulation wage, and in the hope of making larger profits, reduces the wages of his work people. Such a man is altogether unfitted for prosperity, and when he finds himself bankrupt, both as regards reputation and riches, why, he blames circumstances, not knowing that he is the sole author of his condition. Those are the words of James Allen, a British writer from around the turn of the 20th century. So never forget that. Every day you get to decide who you will be. And be that person. Nobody's forcing you to be anybody besides you. You're the maker of your own destiny, and you are the chooser of your own thoughts. Now, there's a whole philosophical debate that we could get into, but I don't think I will, because you know what? In my heart, I'm right. And I'm in the camp of James Allen, all right? So get yourself a copy of this book if you can, As a Man Thinketh. And think about that, too. Make yourself brilliant. Make yourself wise. Make yourself wonderful. All right? And never stop. One foot in front of the other, one breath at a time. Be grateful for it, everybody. All right, here we go. And I should think that that might just conclude today's Pep Talk. Down from above. How was it, Kaylee? Yeah, Kaylee dug it. I hope you dug it, too. Okay. Hey everybody, I am Clyde, always, and I've got a new verse for you. Oh, and it's a doozy. It's already been rejected by Light Poetry Magazine, the premier publisher of light verse in this country. Well, that's fine. I'm going to keep on submitting until they pick one up, and that's all you can do. Anyway, it's all about, you know what, when I was a youngster, when I was 20-ish, a movie came out. A movie called Juno. And it was starring a lovely young lady named Ellen Page. Anyway, come to find out, I was completely and totally wrong about who was starring in that movie. So with no more further ado, I've got a little poem called Bravo, Elliot, Bravo. Tell everyone you know, the former Miss Juno is now and was always a man. He's made it his mission to make his transition as public as ever he can. Although he's a fella, the star of Umbrella will carry on playing abroad, but many a critic is going arthritic, lambasting the role as a fraud. But me, I imagine that Ellen's unvagin might be a publicity stunt, 'cause be she a sister or be he a mister, they're still the same bitter old cunt. Hey, thanks everybody. I know, man. Well, I ain't caught much flack for it, so doing it to it. But not too politically correct, was it? No. Maybe that's why they rejected it. I don't know. It certainly wasn't the verse crafting. It certainly wasn't the craft. Anyway, hey everybody, that brings us to today's Artist Spotlight. That's right, every week here at the Clyde Always Show. Oh, not the Clyde Always Show. Sorry, I got a little mixed up there. Every Wednesday here at the Need to Live podcast, I do what's called the Artist Spotlight, and that's where, sorry, somebody's moving around out there. That's where I highlight one great free thinker, one creator, one innovator, one artist from across the ages, living or dead, who has brought works of wonderment into the world. Okay, now this isn't going to be a full-blown biography or anything. This is just merely me refreshing in your mind the existence and the geniusness of this person, whoever they may be. All right? So that's that. So, with no more further ado, today's Artist Spotlight is Norwegian-British author Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl, that's right. Big tall son of a bitch. So Roald Dahl, he wrote a collection of children's books. Not little picture books or anything, but, thick middle grade novels, you could call them. That were dark and humorous and lovely and vicious and vivacious and moving and entertaining. My, oh my, was he a storyteller. In fact, and I gotta tip my hat right now because this is like God's honest truth. I was inspired to pursue my career as a children's author by this man, Roald Dahl. So thank you, Roald Dahl, for doing what you do, because it inspired me. And I'm sure, if you're in, anybody's age bracket, I was going to say my age bracket, but even older than me, or I hope younger than me, I hope they're still teaching his books in school. I don't know if they are. They might not fit the criteria anymore. But anyway, Roald Dahl wrote such favorites as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and The Big Friendly Giant, and one called Danny the Champion of the World. That's a fantastic one. And one called Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is, true to its name, fantastic as well. Fantastic. What does that even mean? It means so great that it could only be a fantasy, reminiscent of fantasy. And that's what it was. These were works of magical realism. That magic exists all around us. And this man brought so many wonderful works into the world. And besides just his children's works, his works of children's literature, he wrote short stories for adults that will spook you, that will haunt you, that will make your make the shadow when you go giggle, giggle, giggle. All right, they'll tickle you, they'll prickle you, they'll move you in some way or another. Roald Dahl, he wrote a couple of autobiographies too. One called Boy, Tales of Childhood. That is a fascinating read. And then he wrote one called Going Solo, which I really enjoyed as a young man. It's all about his experiences in Northern Africa as part of the Royal Air Force, flying fighter jets, shooting down Nazis, man. Can you imagine? Can you imagine such an adventure, man? Such as what people used to do. Such as what men my age used to do. They used to go out and, shoot down Nazi airplanes and things like that. I guess we're still doing things like that, but it feels sometimes like the romance has gone out of it. Especially, I don't want to get into it. Anyway, Roald Dahl, if you have never had the pleasure of reading one of his beautiful little novels, little novellas, all right? Pick one up. Just grab one. The first one you see, you'll like it a lot. The Twits, that's a real quick read. Vicious little bit of lit, all right? Get that one, The Twits by Roald Dahl. There's a short story of his called Lamb to the Slaughter. And it's for adults, not for the kiddos. Ooh. Let me just say, a good tagline would be, Hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn. Ooh. Also, before I conclude my artist spotlight of Roald Dahl, my very favorite short story ever written is one by Roald Dahl called Pig. P-I-G, one word, Pig. Spooky stuff. And he wrote that, get this, as an homage to Voltaire's Candide. A thinker, a real deep thinker, Roald Dahl was. So, as much as he may be getting dragged through the mud nowadays for shit he said like almost 100 years ago, who cares? Fuck you. God damn it. Thank you, Roald Dahl. Thank you for inspiring Samantha Muffinbaker in the funny land of Flink. All right? My latest and greatest children's book, so if you haven't got a copy, go grab it, okay? There's a link to my website and a link from my website to there, okay? Just click. It'll be fun. Okay, thus concludes today's Artist Spotlight. Okay, hey everybody, if you're still with me, which would be great, it's time for the anecdote. I always close this out in a real-life anecdote about one of my real-life adventures. Speaking of adventures, if you're a young person, please go out and have some adventures. Even if you're an old person, go have a goddamn adventure. I know there's a whole lot of talk these days about not leaving your house or whatever, but the hell with that. Leave your house, go experience something new. Go do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You'll die. That's the worst thing that'll happen. Anyway, yeah, speaking of which, I took an adventure when I was 25 years old. So that's almost 10 years ago now. Dear Lord, that was a long time ago. I was 25 and I went on the adventure of a lifetime when I hitchhiked halfway. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. This adventure that I'm going to tell you about is from the second time I went hitchhiking across the country. The first time I was 25, hitchhiked the southern route between Oakland and Austin, Texas. That was great. That was amazing. The second time, it was 2 years later, so I would have been 27. And I hitchhiked from San Francisco to Seattle, and from Seattle all the way to Madison, Wisconsin. And on the way, one of those days was spent going across the Idaho panhandle. And that's what I want to tell you about today. Now, this isn't like a joke. This isn't a big setup and a punchline or anything like that. I'm just merely relaying to you the real-life experiences that happened to me between Spokane, Washington, and Missoula, Montana. And if you look at a map, that describes basically the route across I-90 over the Idaho panhandle. Well, what's the Idaho panhandle? You should know. It's that part of Idaho. If you look at a map, Idaho's got a little, a protrusion. That's what you call a panhandle. Flip it around, boop, boop, boop. You can roast something on a pan. You'd have a handle whereby to hold the pan. Comprende? I don't think I need to explain that. Now, I had heard talk that there's a whole lot of, ne'er-do-wells that live up there. The kind of guys who shave their heads bald and walk around with leather boots with red laces in them, if you know what I mean. Now, I didn't want to meet any of those cats, that's for sure. But somebody told me in Seattle, I asked a dude while I was standing in Dick's, I said, in the line for Dick's Drive-In, which is like the burger place there. I said, man, well, aren't there like, some neo-Nazis up there? And he said, oh, no. Maybe up to Sand Point you'd see a few, but not in Coeur d'Alene. No, it's a tourist town. It's beautiful. So I said, all right, cool. So outside of Spokane, I caught a ride with a dude, all right? And at this point, too, I've got this fucking gruesome sunburn on my face. It was the middle of summer, too. So out of Spokane, I caught a ride with this dude, and he went and got me some, when he dropped me off in the beginning, I forget the little town there, right across the border, right across the Idaho border. He dropped me off in a little town, and he gave me this beat-up old cowboy hat, which is right back there. I guess you can't see it. I could go get it, but I won't. You know what a cowboy hat looks like. Whoa, dear Lord. Anyway, so now I had a cowboy hat. And I was out there in some little town outside of Coeur d'Alene. So then I caught a ride from there with this old dude with a walrus-looking mustache. And he was the most vulgar, most disgusting man you could ever hope to meet. You meet an old guy, he might have a dirty joke or two. But this cat was like the fountain of dirty jokes. He never stopped. Everything out of his mouth was a dirty joke. Talking about smelling fingers and, saying all kinds of slurs and things. He was a goober. It was gnarly. Anyway, finally he dropped me off, thank God. Just down the road from where the other guy had dropped me off. It's a lot of little rides, So then, I'm sitting there. Now, this was beautiful, too, because when you're hitchhiking, this is what I got to tell you. That is your opportunity, to really listen to the universe, because it's going to be your natural instinct to get anxious and start thinking, nobody's going to pick me up. Oh, my God. Oh, the cars just keep driving by, But that's your time to stop and look around and say, well, the universe has put me at this exact location. Let me appreciate the beauty and splendor. And idly, when the cars drive by, will I smile and stick out my thumb and hope they want to pick me up. And if they don't, hell with them, because I'm a happy guy. That's how you get rides. All you fucking wannabe vagabonds, go out and do it, man. Oh, you'll sleep rough under the stars a few nights. You might have some rough times. You might get a few mosquito bites, a sunburn. You might, get foot fungus and stuff. But that's just par for the course. Because it will be the greatest adventure you've ever had. Anyway, finally, I'm sitting there and I'm writing poetry in my journal, and these two good old boys drive on by, and they get me in the truck. They get me in the van, I should say. They had a van because they were contractor boys. You wind up getting a lot of rides with contractors when you're hitchhiking. Anyway, so they took me back to their they lived in like a trailer park, out there in the sticks. And it's beautiful countryside up there in the Idaho panhandle, by the way. It's all mountains completely covered, like shoulder to shoulder with pine trees. So it's not like snow-capped mountains, it's just pine tree mountains everywhere you go. It's beautiful, gorgeous, it's green, it's luscious, it's majestic, it's moving. Oh, it'll do it for you. It'll do it for you. Anyway, they took me to the trailer park where they lived, and they took me in, and their wife, or one of their wives, not their wife. No. One of their wives, she was heating up these fucking knives, these two gigantic knives on the stove, getting them red hot. And I was like, what the hell are they doing? She's like, you want a knife hit? And I was like, oh, no, I don't do that. I don't do meth. And she's like, no, not meth. I'm talking about weed. And I'm not kidding you. She put a little, glass pipe in my mouth, and she took one of those hot knives, and she grabbed a piece of weed, and she went, and vaporized it between those two hot knives. And I swear to God, I don't do it anymore, and I really don't recommend it. That's the other thing. Just as a brief aside, especially to young people, I don't recommend that you start smoking all this weed and making excuses for the fact that you say, oh, it's okay to smoke weed. No. Well, I know it's subjective, so maybe it's good for you, but I urge you, just try your life without it. Try removing it from your life and see what happens, because I'll venture a guess, good things will start happening to you more often than not if you get rid of that little green plant. It can be detrimental to your drive. Anyway, I got snapped up there with that fucking one little knife hit, which of course is before I realized that my life worked a lot better without weed. So there I was, completely rip-tagged. But then they started talking too. They were like, well, I hope you don't have any weed on you, because if you get caught by the police here in Idaho, that's jail time. I was like, whoa, oh my God. No, thank you. So I was really paranoid. And they go and drop me off at this little town called Wallace. And they were telling me, too, that there used to be, when they were young men in their early 20s, there was what you call a house of ill repute that had been in operation since the mining days, since the pioneer days out there in Idaho. But they said some goddamn corporation, some organization came and shut it down. So that was the end of the old whore house in Wallace. So I said, well, that's too bad. That's funny, too, that they would have, jail time for weed, but you could go to the old cat house and get a little hanky-panky. Anyway, moving the show right along, because this is an interesting tale. This is how I got across, by the way, into Missoula, Montana. So, I walked from Wallace down onto the highway, because some fucking cat told me I'm never going to catch somebody coming out of town going that way. He said I got to go down to the highway and then I'll get the whole highway. And I was like, well, that's illegal. And I was high, too. I was paranoid. I was like, I don't know, man. But when he said that, something got me thinking. I was like, well, maybe he's right. So I decided to try it. And I don't recommend you do this. Always do it on the ramp, either on a country highway or on an on-ramp. Do not go down to the actual fucking high-speed freeway and try and thumb down a car on the freeway. Not good, very dangerous. Here's why. There I was, thumbing the cars on the freeway. It's all like wind and dust and exhaust in my face. Lo and behold, and I get this too, we're up in the mountains, so there's a big pass. It's an elevated freeway. This fucking car goes, boom, drives past me, and then goes, and stops right in the middle of the fucking driving lane. So I turn around, and there's still cars coming, so I start running. I'm like, pull over, get out of the way. Fuck. I ran up, and usually, too, you should be a little apprehensive before you just jump in a fucking car with somebody. But in this case, I was like, jumping, and it's this old woman. Not old woman, but, 50-something-year-old woman. Turns out I could smell the booze on her, but she was drunk. Stupid idea. But meanwhile, there's a fucking truck right behind her, like, almost went off the side of the cliff. I'm like, hit the gas, lady, go, go, go. Anyway, she wound up pissing and moaning because apparently her ex-husband had gone and left her for a younger woman. She was a real sad sap. That was a fucking story, man. Just hearing her tale of woe. This old redneck lady. So she dropped me in Missoula, Montana, and I went and fucking camped under a bridge there in Missoula. And that was it. That's how I got across the Idaho panhandle, which was a doozy, and it was rife with peril. Whew. Oh, it was a perilous journey, but it was fun, all right? And I lived to tell the tale, didn't I? But I might not have. But that's life, baby. You gotta go do it. You gotta go have your adventure, all right? So have an adventure today, whoever you are. Thanks for stopping by. I'll be with you again next Wednesday, so tune in then. Tell a friend all about the Need a Lift podcast. Let's do it. We are the artists. We have built the world around us.